plain file.
Yeah, we just need the photos of the areas that we're talking about.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, there's several to pick through here. So, yeah.
Perfect.
You can lateral those.
The dormer, the area above the garage, and then they got pictures of that area over there and the windows.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now.
Did you carbon copy him on the email? Is it the city? Yeah, you could put your matter.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we should. Is it Jerry?
Jerry?
It is
Yeah.
Jerry Zimmer
Yes.
with top
Jerry.
pitch roof.
Yes.
Jimmer.
Zimmer. Yes.
Yeah. Did you get the email? Or did you get a copy of the email that Suseli forwarded from the city inspector?
I believe
I sent it to him because in no
Yes.
response was he ever
Yes.
carbon copied onto any of those
I
emails.
did see. I saw a copy of it.
Every email we sent out, he was, but any response, he was not. It was just me.
Okay.
I then started including my husband since he owns the house too.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I know did you want to explain the damaged versus the undamaged area as far as the response that you got?
Yes, I am.
From the inspector. So
Yeah.
I got the email from the email that you sent in, and I emailed the inspector, and I gave him the facts of loss, stating that there was a fire across the street with damage of front elevation, and I asked him if the other 3 elevations were undamaged, if we need to detach and reset it to include the house wrap. He said no. It is
He
not
said to
required.
his knowledge, the other elevations were not damaged, but now I am claiming that they are. So that's where we're at with that.
All right, so do you understand that piece of it?
I understand that piece. And my position would be, obviously, I can't argue policy.
Okay, I was getting ready to say, you said
So,
your position.
My
Okay.
position
We'll
is I
listen.
can't install vapor barriers, house wrap, in alignment with manufacturer specifications or in alignment with anything that would be warrantable if it terminates. If it terminates without lapping, it's an envelope. It's a system. It's not like a tarp. So there's no point in installing it. Essentially, if you're just gonna spot install it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to just do the front elevation?
We could install it on the front elevation.
Okay.
It wouldn't be in alignment with manufacturer specs, best practices, or anything else. For it to be done properly, so this damaged corner board will need to come off.
Well, yeah. So that's going to be in the estimate, and I believe it's already in the estimate when you replace this front side. Because
Right.
they're paying to replace this front side right here.
Where this WRB goes, here, any adjoining elevation, inside or outside corner, has a lap requirement. So come out, lap, come here, lap, creating an envelope. So the WRB acts as an envelope all the way around the house.
There isn't anywhere on the house. Is the thing. So we can't
we
lap it if
we
there's nothing to
understand.
lap it over. That's. Am I understanding
Yes,
that correctly?
correct.
Okay.
And so, as far as the warranty portion is concerned, the policy doesn't pay for warranty.
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
I'd say it's just to be able to do it in a workmanlike manner. It can't be done. And also to be able to do it in alignment with code. So that is code. He's not enforcing code.
Yeah. Okay, but that's what the policy says. If it's enforced by code.
Right. I think it's based on what my understanding of that email,
is
that
what
interim
the
email,
Yes.
is he's not enforcing
Code.
that portion of code on
For
this
the
house
undamaged portion.
for the
Yes.
undamaged.
He was
Right.
never consulted on the damaged portion of the house, though the policy states he should have been.
No, that's not what the policy says.
I would be happy to go and get that for you, ma'am, as
Well,
I have
no,
it
we
highlighted.
have the policy.
Oh, I do too. So I just want you pointed out.
Okay.
I just want to point out. Can I go get it, please?
No, please. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why we're here.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. So it says here, option OL, building ordinance and law, section 1. Coverage provided, the total limit insurance provided to this option will not exceed an amount equal to the option OL percentage shown in the declaration page of the coverage A limit shown in the declarations at the time of loss, as adjusted by the inflation coverage provision of this policy. Declaration page states that it's up to $30,700, correct? He did not give an estimate that exceeded that, so we have no issues there. This is an additional amount of insurance and applies to building structures and residence premises. Section 2, damaged portions of building structure. When a building structure covered under coverage A dwelling is damaged by a loss insured, we will pay for the increased cost to repair or rebuild the physically damaged portion of the building structure caused by the enforcement of a building zoning or land use ordinance or law if the enforcement is directly caused by the same loss and the requirement is in effect at the time the loss insured occurs. That's the same version, same wording for the damaged aspect of my home. And the undamaged aspect says the same thing. The ordinance or law regulates the construction or repair of the building structure or establishes zoning or land use requirements as described premises. The ordinance or law is in force at the time of the occurrence of the same loss insured. It says, the cost to demolish and clear the site of the undamaged portions of the building structure caused by the enforcement of a building, zoning, or land use ordinance or law, if the enforcement is directly caused by the same loss insured and the requirement is in effect at the time the loss insured occurs.
But we just established that he's not enforcing it.
Yes, and my argument is, why did you selectively choose to reach out to him for the undamaged denial portion, but you didn't, when you should have, for the damaged?
Because she knows that if it's damaged, we owe for it. The question was, if it's undamaged, are you enforcing it? So if he's enforcing it, then we know we would owe for it. But if he's not enforcing it, then we would not owe for it. So we needed to resolve that question.
So law and
That's
ordinance
all.
only activates, though, if an enforcement is required. And that's even true for the damaged portion. So there is no, oh, she knew. It's, no, it says it right there in black and white. It's required. You have to require it in order to activate. Because you could have called the city and they could have said, nah, we're not going to enforce it for the damaged portion. They could have said no, and that's the end of the story. That wasn't done. So my question is, why were you selectively reaching out to the city for enforcement that is required for one aspect of this claim, but not the other?
Jerry sent us an email, which Mr. Alex said, hey, can you consider this for the entire house?
Right, and that was a week later.
So I reached out to the inspector.
Yes.
And I gave him the facts of loss.
Right.
And that's what he responded to me. Hey, well, it's not required for the undamaged portion.
Right, you only inquired about the undamaged portion,
I
though.
reached out to him for the undamaged portion. We knew the damaged portion was covered. There was a question about the undamaged. And
You
I
had no way of
explained to
knowing that
you,
the city would enforce the damaged portion, though, without consulting them first,
we
per
don't
the policy's
need
explanations.
For the city to enforce it, ma'am. It's damaged. We need to replace the
The
damaged
policy
portion.
says you do need the city to enforce it, though. I just read it to you. It's right there, ma'am. The policy does state that you need the city to enforce it for the damage. That's how it activates. That's how it triggers the endorsement to go beyond the regular coverage. Now, he can't argue policy with you. I will argue the policy with you.
That's fine. We could discuss your concerns.
I am discussing.
Okay,
I'm not being
so-
irate. I'm just,
Oh,
I'm just,
no,
it's,
we're not
it's,
saying you're being irate. We're not saying you're being irate, but you're selectively picking out different portions of the policy. So again,
No, I'm
on
not.
Uh-huh.
the undamaged portion of it, unfortunately, the city is not enforcing the undamaged, so that's why we're unable to include the weathering for the undamaged portion.
But do you not use code, law and ordinance codes, when making your determination for the claim? Because to just do that one side, and he's already confirmed it from the contractor's opinion, the contractor's, he's a licensed contractor. He's saying you cannot put the wrap on just the damaged portion of the home and it be up to code.
Well,
So
who's
this is
got
a
the
law
final
enfor-
say? It's the city inspector. If the city inspector says, yes, we're enforcing this, then we would have no issue with paying it. We would have no issue at all.
But you didn't ask the city for the damaged portion. That's the problem I'm having
Well,
here.
but
Is
the
you're
thing is-
selectively
no,
choosing
that's
when you're
not
going
how
to
it works.
require
No.
something for the policy.
We do that on all claims, ma'am. We do that
Ma'am,
on all claims.
If you do that on claims, I'm
Yes, we
very
do.
concerned with State Farm's
Okay, but we
handling
do
the
that on
claims.
all claims.
Y'all shouldn't.
Just
So,
like with roofing, we look and see what kind
Yeah.
of codes are required for all claims.
yeah, and that went perfectly.
Yeah.
That,
okay,
that
well,
roofing went
oh,
perfectly.
thank
But
you.
that was a different adjuster. That was a different manager, I assume. So I'm just asking. I'm not taking shots at nobody. That's not what I'm
No,
doing. That's not
no
what I'm doing.
shots taken.
That's a different
No shots
section of
taken.
State Farm because y'all handle certain claims differently, right? Roof claim versus a fire damage claim. No, so you just are the group that got assigned to this one.
No, your house
yes.
is in our territory.
Yes,
so
yes. So
we
you,
handle it.
yes. So that's where my hang up is. That's
I
where
see
my
that,
hang up
yes,
is
I
because the
completely
policy
see
states that the enforcement was required by the city, but you didn't ask for it for the damage portion. You went ahead and you gave the coverage. Then, because you called me on Friday, you said that for the city for you to do anything beyond the damage portion, you would need the city's enforcement. That was a conversation we had the Friday previous, before the 22nd. So I said, okay, if you want something from the city, I will get something from the city. Hadn't even been a week from that phone call, ma'am, that you went ahead and pushed this settlement through. I had not yet given anything from the city.
No, I believe I got
You
an
pushed it on the
email
22nd of April.
from Jerry. I have to go back in the file. I believe I got an email from Jerry stating to settle the claim with the insurer, just issued a settlement payment.
Yeah, that was after.
Because I was waiting on your response from the city because you told me you were going to get something from the city if that's what I requested.
No, so, because I have this documented as well. I have all of the emails, and I have them printed out in chronological order. You didn't. You didn't.
Maybe on the Dean claim.
You didn't. What happened was, my husband and I were both notified simultaneously that a check was being sent out on the 22nd of April regarding the damaged portion of this claim. Though I had not given you anything from the city yet. That was only notified to me and my husband, not Jerry. He has never received any response from you. Following that, I then sent it out to Jerry saying, this is what she's saying, and I don't understand what she's saying. She wants something from the city, but they went ahead and they did this anyway before I had a chance to get it. Had not even been a week yet. Then Jerry responded, and then we never heard anything. Asking about the settlement, asking about, can you provide proof that would be brought up to code for just doing the one section? We never got response. I'm still awaiting responses. I sent out 2 emails, one last week and the week before that, still requesting in writing your stance on all of the concerns that I'm addressing now. So then, on the 29th, you reached out to the city. You had not reached out to the city anytime prior to that.
I was waiting on your email from the city because you said, well, if you want something from the city, I'm
Yes.
going to get it for you from
Yes.
the city. Because I was telling you, we wouldn't owe for this. And you said, hey, well, don't issue any payment now.
That's what I said.
Until I hear back from the city.
That's
I don't
right.
have my
And
computer
what
in
is the
front of me.
State Farm's policy on issuing payment? We issue undisputed payment.
Issuing this
Even if
and
the
there's a
customers say don't
supplement
issue
later,
payment,
we
our stance is we issue undisputed payment regardless of whether the customer wants it or not. We do issue undisputed payment.
Oh, and that's perfectly fine because I don't have to cash that
No,
check
you don't.
and accept the
Correct.
settlement
You're right.
until
You're right.
I feel
But
like this has been adequately
You
investigated.
are right, but I'm just putting it out there. So you guys may not know that he said something earlier, which was fine. The thing about that is our team members are instructed, rather the customer tell you don't issue this payment, they're instructed by State Farm to issue undisputed payment. Because we always come back if there's a situation where we discover and we learn new information, we issue supplemental payment. So customers are saying all the time, well, I'm not catching this, and that's fine. They have the right not to catch it, and that's okay. And you could attest, we issue supplemental payment officers. We do. It is a fact. So
The claim being closed doesn't mean it's closed.
yes, a closed claim is never always. He knows that. So I'm just, trying to put some humor in it. So yeah, you have the right as a homeowner, a policyholder, not to issue it. People tear it up, catch it up, but in the system, we issue undisputed payment. As new information arises, we just further investigate. Something is brought to our attention. We're further investigating the claim as we learn new things. Okay, so this came up. We investigate. We talk to you. We talk to your vendor. We talk to whoever. Okay, I see this. Then we will review the claim. If it's something that's warranted and covered under the policy, we make a supplemental payment all the time. So that's what may have happened in that particular situation. So we don't not issue payment. They're instructed by us as State Farm to issue the undisputed payment whether the customer wants it or not.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to keep going back and forth on what the policy says of the requirement of enforcement for damage versus undamaged. I've read it. I've read it to you. I've not selectively read it to you. I read it the whole thing as it pertains to this policy and to this loss. So I've said all I need to say about that. My position on that has not changed.
And that's fine. And our position has not changed.
And your position has not changed at this time. So we this is where we're at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So then my other concern, and I sent this, and I understand you probably haven't seen your emails yet because long holiday and everything, but I did send an email to claims on after our conversation later that evening, because you said something in the phone call where you don't go by code when you're making your determination. And I would just like, could you explain that to me? Because I don't know what code you're talking about. Code in a policy, or are you talking about code R703.2 of the Georgia State?
I would not have said that, because obviously that's why we have optionOL in our policy. So no, I would not have said we don't go by code.
And that you also don't go by the contractor's professional guidelines and opinions.
No, I said policy doesn't pay for warranty. That I
You did say that, yes. You did say that. We agree on that.
Yes,
we did say
we
that.
do agree on that. But I wouldn't say we don't go by code, because what's the purpose of State Farm selling optionOL?
Exactly. That's why I was so confused at the end of that call. I was
Well,
like,
you must have misheard me, because I would have never said that.
okay, so that
I've been doing
said
this for 34 years, so I would not have said we don't go by code. That's why we have the one-click code, and we sell optionOL. And that's why we have the dollar amount. People purchase certain dollar amount for optionOL. So I would never say we don't go by code.
okay, all right.
That was not a statement that came from me.
Okay. So then that being said then, since this is law and ordinance, and he said it multiple times, that the code it has to overlap. It sounds like we're in a which came first, the chicken or the egg situation.
Well, no, but
Because
that's what he's saying, and the city inspector is saying something different, where he's saying the city inspector is the official that we work with. If he's not enforcing it, in the policy that has been read multiple times that says if it's not being enforced, the policy is saying it has to be enforced by code.
Right. So that being said,
Yes.
let's run with it. That being said, we're going to run with that.
We're going to run with it. Okay.
So, that being said,
Yes.
you're saying that you didn't need the city's inspector's enforcement for the damaged portion of the home. I'm arguing that you did, but you're saying you didn't, right? Is that correct? Okay, that's correct. You do not. You're saying that you do not need the city inspector's enforcement. I'm saying you are. Let's go with you don't need it. How then are you justifying that this is up to code if it's not following the state's code? Because it won't be up to code.
Now you're talking about warranty. No.
Oh, I'm
now
not
you're
talking about a warranty
now.
as if you're
Yeah,
going to cover it if
talking
something
about
goes wrong.
warranty.
I'm talking about a code, that the state's code for the weather-resistant
No,
wrap.
well, the code would be the city inspector would say, yes, State Farm, you got to wrap all of it. That would be code. We're talking about a warranty issue at this point.
I'm not talking about the warranty.
Yes, we are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, we are. We're
Please
talking
listen.
two
I
different
wasn't
things.
talking when you were
Okay.
talking. Please listen. I am not talking about a warranty. I'm not talking about city inspector. I'm talking about the 2024 Georgia State Minimum Requirement Residential Law. Under code, this is the law, under code R703.2. This has nothing to do with the warranty. This has everything to do with the state's code for building a residential home.
Okay.
getting it up to law and orders. That code states it must be a continuous envelope. But if you're stopping it here, then how is it up to code?
Okay, so let's say this. So we're gonna wrap this up real quick because I've got to go meet with an agent, and then I've got a 1:30 call that I need to attend. Until the city inspector enforces it and say we've got to wrap the entire house, we're unable to wrap the entire house. Until the city inspector says that and enforce it by code, we're unable to wrap in the undamaged area.
But then the damaged area isn't up to code then.
Okay, well,
No,
again,
that is the law.
no, that's what you're saying.
No,
your
that's what the law
interpretation.
says. It's not an
No.
interpretation.
Okay,
That's
again,
what the
until
law
we get
says.
something in writing from the city inspector that says it is being enforced that the undamaged area has to be wrapped. Unfortunately, we're unable to include those areas in your estimate.
All right. I
Okay.
hear what you're saying. I hear what
Okay,
you're saying.
good.
Don't agree with it, but I hear
You
it.
don't have to agree
So-
with it.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
So here's my next thing.
Yes.
Moving forward, as we continue to dispute this,
Yes.
please respond to my emails, as I will no longer be communicating by phone call. Please put everything regarding to this claim in writing in an
Yes.
email.
So
I did send y'all an email. It went straight to claims. I don't know how that gets managed. I sent y'all an email on Friday, and I sent y'all an email last week. Please address all the questions in that email. I understand it takes like 48 hours for y'all to go through your emails and respond. That's fine. Please address every concern in writing in that email. I will not accept any more phone calls, and neither will my husband. So
we'll make a note that Chief does not want any more phone calls.
and that's all I have to say. I have nothing else to say. I've said everything that I've said. And I hope I said it in a way that wasn't disrespectful.
No disrespect at all. And I
Okay.
hope none of us have been disrespectful at Chief.
No,
We just
I
have to
will.
answer your question, and again, we could agree to disagree. And again, until the city inspector tells us and he enforces the code that you're talking about, until he tells us that we have to wrap it, we're unable to wrap it according to the policy.
Until an overseeing authority enforces that, you're not going to.
City inspector enforces the code. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he enforced that.
No, they didn't ask them about the damage section.
We don't have to. So there's no enforcement of WRB. Period.
There is no enforcement of WRB period by the city inspector. They went ahead and they granted it without that requirement.
You don't want to put it in any of it. That's between you and the homeowner.
Right.
We're going to write in our estimate. If you don't want to put it in there, that's
Oh yeah, I
completely
printed
up
off
to
the
you.
estimates and I compared them back and forth and I saw where the WRB was included.
But he's not enforcing it in the undamaged area. According to the policy, we don't have to include it in there.
So now really the next steps I think at this point is just to investigate what I am claiming, with which why we were here to take the pictures. So I think that's our next steps. As we move forward, I would just appreciate being contacted via email. I will not accept any more phone calls.
Okay, we will note that in the claim file. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I
Okay.
think,
Well,
I
thank
think
you all
that's
for
it.
being here with us, and thank you for your assistance.
Absolutely.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure meeting with you this morning.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You have a great day, Ms. Baptiste. It was nice to meet you.
Meet you.